Now at 5, learn about a new 53,000 square feet, $42 million regional crime center under construction at Pittsburg State. Plus, the reasons behind a Missouri representative filing a redistricting bill in the midst of other state redistricting controversies. And why the Trump administration is canceling a rule for flyers' compensation over flight disruptions.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Kansas Bureau of Investigation breaks ground on a new $42 million regional crime center and forensics lab at Pittsburg State University. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Tanya Bach. The goal of the new facility to enhance local law enforcement capabilities and serve as a training center for future investigators. KOAM's Mitch Adams spoke with officials to find out more about the project.
Although the Kansas Bureau of Investigation is headquartered in Topeka, a new regional facility is in the works at Pittsburg State University. The planned $42 million facility will be a regional crime center, forensics lab, and training center.
A laboratory can make certain that someone who is arrested, that arresting officer has the necessary evidence to see that that person gets convicted. So this is a win for Pittsburg State University and the region for economic growth. It's a win for law enforcement for the necessary tools, and it's a win for the citizens that they can live in a safer place than they otherwise would.
According to officials, the Regional Crime Center will help local law enforcement be more efficient with evidence and prosecution.
Kansas law enforcement is going to have excellent forensic science and evidence evaluation here. And that's how we put people behind bars, is we have to have a facility like this to do the forensic science.
The facility will also be used to train the next generation of law enforcement and investigators.
New buildings, new technology, new equipment, that attracts students, provides a better education. We're going to do our part to try to make certain there's additional resources for equipping this building. So, I mean, a building can be a building, although if it's attractive, if it allows the space and has the right equipment, it can be very educational.
Construction on the facility will begin in October of this year, aiming to be complete in spring of 2027. In Pittsburg, Kansas, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
Once the project is complete, the facility will also be the new home of the Pittsburg State University Police Department. Missouri lawmakers are back at the Capitol for a special session focused on redistricting. Representative Dirk Deaton has filed House Bill number 1, which lays out new congressional boundaries. The push comes after Governor Mike Kehoe called legislators back to consider changes ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. Deaton says the new map balances urban and suburban areas, while critics argue they could weaken the influence of urban voters in places like Kansas City and St. Louis. The proposal is currently moving through the State House.
This is a better map, and it's a better map in a variety of ways. For example, it splits fewer cities and fewer counties than the current map does. I think it's great that this map actually does pair, in some cases, suburban, urban, rural. These are, some would say they aren't, but I think these are communities of interest. In metropolitan statistical areas, we know it's not just the city core.
The bill has the support of many Republican lawmakers. It is currently moving through the Missouri State House. Joplin High School and Franklin Tech announced a new career academy. There's 5 different career courses each student can choose from. Each freshman will start in the Freshman Academy, and at the end of their freshman year, they'll choose a path they wish to follow. Now, coursework will center around the direction each student chooses.
And they can receive an industry-recognized credential at the end. And so what we're really doing with the academy model is setting our kids up for future success, in that regardless if they go to the career, they go to college, they have an opportunity to be steps ahead of their peers because they've gone through a career academy model.
The students are not locked into the academy they choose at the end of their freshman year. Each semester they can switch if they want to. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us now with a first look at weather.
We've had rainy showers all day long, and most of these are pretty light to maybe moderate showers in some isolated areas, but it's been that inconvenient, dreary weather all day long. You can see our northern cities are getting hit with the more moderate rain showers. A lot of this is starting to taper off once it moves in. We are expecting some more storms later in the day, but let's break it down. We've got out in Neosho, Goodman, Pineville, some light to moderate showers just south of Joplin. Those are lighter showers, only about a half an inch an hour. Then jumping up to the north, like I said, Iola, Yates Center getting some stronger or heavier rain, moderate. Moving into Fort Scott as well, we're going to see some. Now these are pretty patchy for the next couple of hours, but we will expect to see a lot more rainfall through the late evening hours. I'm going to have those details coming up.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Now to some big news for air travelers. The Trump administration says it's canceling a rule that would have given flyers more rights to compensation for flight disruptions. This could save airlines money at the expense of passengers. Chris Van Cleve is at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport.
This proposed regulation was introduced in December at the end of the Biden administration, and the argument was if there was a financial penalty for airline-caused delays, there would be fewer delays. But ultimately, it was left up to the Trump administration to decide if they would move forward, and instead the administration has decided to scrap this proposed regulation. Here's how it would have worked. It would have required airlines to pay up to $300 for domestic delays of 3 hours or more, and up to $775 for delays lasting at least 9 hours, similar to regulations you find in the EU and Canada. Airlines opposed it from the start, arguing additional cash compensation would ultimately drive up ticket prices. In a statement, the trade group for U.S. airlines praised the move, saying, "We are encouraged by this Department of Transportation reviewing unnecessary and burdensome regulations that exceeded its authority and do not solve issues important to our customers." DOT says it is also considering a rollback of a Biden-era requirement for carriers to disclose additional fees, such as checked bags or change fees, and plans to revisit how it defines a flight cancellation that would trigger a refund. Currently, airlines still have to refund flyers for canceled flights. Now, DOT says it will faithfully implement all regulations required by Congress, but that some of the proposed or adopted regulations from the previous administration exceeded that authority. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Atlanta.
Well, Spirit Airlines is cutting routes to nearly a dozen cities, including 4 cities in California, starting next month. The budget air carrier is also nixing plans to begin service in Macon, Georgia. The announcement came less than a week after Spirit announced that it was filing for bankruptcy for the second time this year due to rising operating costs and debt. In a statement to CBS News, Spirit says customers affected by the change in service will be notified of their options, including a refund. Well, still ahead, unemployment on the rise.
Job creation slowed in August and unemployment is ticking up. I'm Bradley Blackburn with the new numbers and what they could mean for the U.S. economy.
But first, in Health Watch, a burn survivor gets a successful and historic face transplant. Hear his story next. Topping today's Health Watch, it's a message of hope and resilience from a burn survivor who had a historic face transplant surgery. Stephanie Stahl has his amazing story of survival.
When I was in the accident,
Robert Chelsea sharing his story of being the oldest and first black patient to receive a full face transplant.
my objective is to, number one, educate others.
He was burned over 60% of his body after being hit by a drunk driver in 2013. An accident in Los Angeles, the 73-year-old vividly recounts.
He hit me, my car went up in the air, it came down, and maybe about a second or two later, oh, it just blew up.
He was in a coma for 6 months and had more than 30 operations and is now on a mission to encourage more organ donations, especially among black people. He says doctors worked hard to match his skin tone. In addition to the face transplant, you also had skin transplants on your arms?
Well, yes, this is cadaver skin, by the way. My hands, cadaver skin.
The face transplant happened in 2019 when Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston found a suitable donor. Robert is hoping to someday meet the family.
Thank you is just not enough for what they are the heroes.
Speaking here for the I Slay Walden Education Alliance that advocates for equity, innovation, and research.
I sincerely appreciate.
Robert talks about hope and resilience and says being alive now is like a dream come true for him, even with what he's endured.
So now I know what it feels like to be a burn survivor. I know what it feels like to be amputee.
Having lost some fingers and toes because of the burns, he still feels lucky and will be forever grateful, he says, to the donor family. Stephanie Stahl, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Well, deaths from high blood pressure related kidney disease are skyrocketing in the U.S. Research presented at American Heart Association meeting finds in the last 25 years, hypertension related kidney disease deaths rose nearly 50%. Researchers say the findings show high blood pressure causes more harm than just raising the risk of heart attacks and strokes, and that more screening and treatment is needed. Many people with high blood pressure are not trying an effective method to lower their sodium intake. A UT Southwestern Medical Center study found less than 6% of people are using salt substitutes, which doctors say are a cheap and effective way to manage blood pressure. Researchers say awareness of the products is part of the problem. They also say the largest amounts of sodium we consume comes from processed and packaged foods and meals at restaurants. Well, eating meals could help us live longer. A study out of Turkey shows as people get older, they tend to eat breakfast later, and a later breakfast time was associated with depression, fatigue, and even higher rates of death. Impact was especially significant for older people. Researchers say this adds new meaning to the saying, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. That's a look at today's health news. A little later, the Force was with one lucky Star Wars fan. See how much Darth Vader's lightsaber from the original trilogy sold for at auction.
And we have more rain coming through the rest of the evening. I'll have those details coming up. Well, we've had some rainy days today. Temperatures are much cooler as well, only getting up to the upper 60s. We can go ahead and take a look at our current rain amounts. Now, we've had mostly light to moderate showers for most of the day today, and we've had overcast skies if you haven't gotten any rain. Now you can see moving down near Joplin, we've had a lot of rain just moving out of Neosho, Goodman, and Pineville still getting hit. Monette, Mount Vernon getting some light showers moving out of Joplin. So Joplin looks like it's on a little bit of a break before our next round of rain showers pushes in, and that's going to be actually over to southeastern Kansas, Oswego, Chautauqua, and you can see a little bit of a break. Edna, Altamont, Independence, Coffeyville getting a few more showers, and then up north, these are where we're getting our more moderate showers. So we are looking at about half an inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain per hour. Fort Scott's getting some rain showers. Nevada, maybe some sprinkles. Butler, Mound City, Iola, and Yates Center. Now, as we continue, we can see, taking a look at 7th and Rangeline down in Joplin. Temperatures are low 60s right now. We did get up to the upper 60s earlier this afternoon before our heavier rain showers started to move in and everything cooled down. But right now it is 60 degrees. It is chilly. I've got my sweater on right now. It is just a cold day today. We are nearly 20 degrees cooler right now than we were this time yesterday. 20 degrees cooler, and that's about 25 degrees below average. So it's been a cool day today. Now tonight, temperatures are going to continue to drop down for us. Overcast skies at night actually keep us a bit warmer. So we're only dropping down by about 5 to 8 degrees tonight, getting down to the low 50s, and rain is going to end overnight tonight and into Saturday morning. So you can see Saturday is looking phenomenal. Mostly sunny skies, temperatures in the mid 70s. So it's going to be perfect, a perfect fall-like day tomorrow for us. Now, taking a look at our future track, we've got that band of heavier rain that is about to push in, settle in. We have it in our northern counties, so it's going to settle into our central counties by about 10:30, 11 p.m. Joplin is still looking mostly clear right now, but those rain showers are moving in pretty quick. Parsons getting some heavy rain now, not likely to see thunderstorm chances until it moves out of our area. You can see we've got thunderstorms in Arkansas. That's where they have a stronger threat for strong storms. Monette might get some thunderstorms, but the rest of us are just looking at that heavy showers. Maybe not even seeing much lightning either. We don't have any lightning currently going on, so we're going to keep that trend going as we head into the overnight hours. Now here we are, 3 a.m. Joplin's clear. North of I-44 across southeastern Kansas and Missouri are going to be mostly clear, maybe a few lingering showers. And then south of I-44, still seeing those moderate to heavier rain showers, but that all clears out by about 6 to 7 a.m. So we do have a nicer day for us on Saturday. A few clouds in the morning, clears out rather quickly. Again, mid-70s, upper 70s on Sunday, and then we go into Monday, low 80s. Now next week, we have a high pressure system that sets up over our area, and that's going to drive those temperatures up, and it's also going to keep us from having abundant rain. So we're going to have a nice long dry spell and temperatures back up into the upper 80s, low 90s. So we do see that summertime feel coming back around.
I appreciate you not putting 90 on the board, though.
I'm holding out. 89 is close, but I'm holding out.
Yeah. Enjoy the weekend, though, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Lindsay. Well, coming up, see what caused unemployment among Black women to sharply increase over the past few years.
So that's what happens when you trust the wrong dealership. Here at Wade's RV, we have your back. So come see us at Wade's RV.
Topping today's Consumer Watch, uncertainty over President Trump's tariffs is hampering job growth in the U.S. as businesses pause hiring to see how it plays out. CBS's Bradley Blackburn has details on the latest jobs report from the Labor Department.
The latest signal the economy is cooling. The U.S. added 22,000 jobs in August, lower than the expected 75,000. Unemployment ticked up to 4.3%, the highest since 2021.
I think when you put the last 3 or 4 months together, what we really do see is a labor market that's slowing down.
CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says this gives the Federal Reserve a green light to cut interest rates to boost the economy, but with caution.
Price pressures are starting to build a little bit more than the Fed would like. The real question is, can they keep lowering interest rates if they start to see the inflation rate tick up towards the end of the year?
The healthcare sector had the strongest growth last month, while federal government lost 15,000 jobs and is down 97,000 this year.
I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Dr. Denise Joseph was blindsided when she was put on leave in January, and last month her entire division at the Department of Education was laid off. The unemployment rate for Black women has climbed sharply to more than 7%. Dr. Joseph says the country is losing a lot of federal employees who love serving the American people.
It's very devastating to, when you have a passion and purpose and you feel great about the mission, and then for that to be taken away.
While the White House economic advisor acknowledged the report was disappointing, he expects the August jobs numbers will eventually be revised up. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And this was the first jobs report since President Trump fired the Bureau of Labor Statistics commissioner last month after a disappointing report. Yesterday, Trump said the real numbers will start to come out next year, though it's unclear what that means. Final check of the forecast is next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, going back to school to fulfill a dream or on the road shows you the importance of stepping out of your comfort zone. And then on KOAM News at 6, we hear from the Missouri representative who filed House Bill 1, a redistricting bill. Plus, students and district leadership react to Joplin's new Career Academy focus. And in sports, a minute with the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holtis. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and KOAM News at 6. Well, the force is strong among Star Wars collectors after a record-breaking auction in Los Angeles. One lucky bidder spent more than $3.6 million to buy Darth Vader's lightsaber from the original Star Wars trilogy. That makes it the most expensive piece of memorabilia from the famous franchise to ever be sold at auction. The lightsaber was just one of more than 1,000 iconic Hollywood costumes and props that went on the block. I find it hard to believe they only had one lightsaber for Darth Vader for all 3 movies.
I don't know. Maybe he got attached to that one lightsaber and he didn't want to let it go. But you know what's something to get attached to? This forecast. We have a beautiful forecast for us, especially for the weekend. Mid-70s, upper 70s, and sunny skies. Now, we do have some rain chances throughout the week at night, but we've got a high pressure system that sets up, so we get a nice long dry spell, and temperatures returning to the upper 80s, near 90. I'm not going to say 90 just yet. I know you're not looking forward to any 90-degree temperatures, but could get close.
I've talked to many people who aren't ready for winter yet, so we'll take a long fall. Well, thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and we'll be back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Have a great evening and an even better weekend.